I feel like I'm 21. I never felt any different. I'm actually healthier now than when I was 21. So I actually work out now, you know. Don't do any drugs.
A lot of drugs before?
No.
In the younger days?
No.
In the circus days?
No, we were crazy. We were combustible, you know.
Oh, so it's just total self-destructing over too much fame too fast.
So much too fast.
So much too
Yeah,
fast.
I mean, we were, gosh, it says the stories. You just have to read into the whole circus thing on a whole nother level. That's a book, the whole circus world.
Will JC ever write a book?
I'm sure I will one day.
What will that book be about?
Don't know yet, you know.
You know?
Get to that when it happens.
Get to that when it happens, when it hits you that day you wake up in the morning and start writing a book.
Sure.
Is
Got a book of poems.
a book of poems?
I have that now.
Well, you're a songwriter.
Yeah.
So you have a book of poems.
Yeah.
Is that stuff you just decided to write as poetry, or stuff you wrote intending to set to music, or
No, poems.
just poems?
Yeah, thousands.
Thousands.
Yeah. Pretty much ever since I was a little kid, you know, I always wrote poetry.
Cool.
Which was kind of the reason why I got into playing music and writing music, was because it was the only medium I could actually sort of write poetry to, or in, you know.
So when did you write your first song? Could you
My
pin
first
that down?
song. My first song would probably be about. I wrote a concerto when I was 9.
Wow.
That was my first real kind of accomplishment, because I started out classically oriented, you know, and so I kind of started there and worked my way downward ever since.
Downward to a rock musician.
Yeah.
But you love what you do? Are you happy?
Yeah, I do, you know. It's a lot of work, though. The only thing I don't like about it is that I wish there was more hours in the day. Because this record has taken so much out of me in terms of sleep.
So you've been spending 15 hours a day in the studio?
Yeah, and then we'll reconvene back at noon, you know?
No.
I'm getting up out of bed to get into the studio by noon after you got home at 5 in the morning, and you get to bed by 6, and you get 5 hours sleep, and you just repetitively do that.
Does that affect you creatively?
Yeah, it does. Today was an off day, and this is the actually second off day we've had in a month.
Wow.
So you can imagine how grueling it can get as far as in terms of just the repetitiveness of of going to the studio and bashing it out, you know. And that's the other thing, is wearing so many hats. You see, if it would be okay if I was just a singer in a band, you know. Then I'd go down there a couple hours a day, do the singing, and then I'd leave, you know. But I'm the producer, so the producer's got to be there for everything, right?
Right.
So then I'm the drummer maybe for a song, or I'm the bass player, and now I'm the guitar player. Oh, now I have to play some keys, or now I have to go over and do some orchestral arranging on the fly, or I got to, you know, whatever it is. I'm always constantly doing one thing or another to try and pull it all together. And then when I'm not doing that, I feel like an orchestrator, because I have to arrange all these characters to come in, which is kind of what this record's more about, in a way, to where I'm inviting the people I admire in to work on this record, and in that respect I'm spending time with that person, nurturing the sound that I'm looking for this particular thing. Whereas before I would just set up the drum set, let's say for instance, and just I know exactly what I'm going to play. So there is different sides to the work ethic with New than there have been prior to this. But one thing is for sure, I'm enjoying it tremendously, especially all the influences and the great musicians I'm working with.
Is your music ever done? Or is it always a work in progress and you have to pick a point where you go, that's it? Like
that's a great question.
Pink Floyd, you know, spends a year in the studio and eventually they just have to stop.
That's a great question.